people are being sensitized of roles and responsibilities that they have to play, and about the opportunities, the limitless opportunities which are available in Nigeria. I have also been able to put the position of government, of the federal government, before the meeting as to our readiness to continue to support every initiative that are aimed at growing the Nigerian economy using ICT, and also using the same ICT to create jobs for youths. We know that youths are the majority in this country. We also know that we have a growing population of youths who are also getting increasingly educated and who are keen into the ICT revolution. So, and with a population of 183 million, in Nigeria, we know that the Nigerian market is a market waiting to be tapped. We have also utilized this opportunity to appeal and do advocacy to the international community to bring in their investment. The environment is, welcome to foreign direct investment and also to Nigerian investors, to diversify, from other areas into ICT. I am happy, and I believe that with the connections and discussions and interactions that has taken place, we are good to go in the ICT revolution.
Like you rightly mentioned, sir, the number of millennials who are interested in ICT is on the rise. Sadly, so also is the number of these millennials who want to travel out of Nigeria to Europe to explore the Silicon Valleys of this world. Does that bother you? Well,
it bothers me. It is not, it's not just starting, but I believe that the number of people who want to go out are decreasing. I want to have, that belief, because opportunities are also increasing. Remember that a number of universities are springing up, and many of them are also offering ICT as courses, even if the expected quality of training has not yet been attained, but all the same we have something to live with now. On our part as a Ministry of Communications, we are also trying to ensure that we make provision within Nigeria of facilities which are as good, which are in Silicon Valley. We want to ensure that these facilities are also available. For instance, if Nigeria and Nigerians are able to establish the ICT university, which would have built around it a number of ICT-related businesses, of course, this will encourage Nigerian youths to stay within Nigeria. If Rwanda and Kenya have succeeded in stemming the tide of youths going outside of their country, to look for the Silicon Valley experience, I believe Nigeria, with our resources, with our population, and the right leadership that we have now, would do fare better in ensuring that you stay and, enjoy the benefits of the opportunities that are daily springing up within the country.
From your experience, Mr. Minister, what factors would you say are preventing your ministry from providing enduring environments for these millennials who are interested in ICT to stay?
Well, you see, the policy of government is really not to go directly into business of, ICT or of agriculture or whatever. The business of government is that government has no business in business. Government decides to leave business to the private sector, but on its part, to provide the enabling environment through regulation, through monitoring, and through supervision. And that's exactly what we've done. You would also recall that in the last 3 or so months, a number of executive orders have been, given out on the ease of doing business in Nigeria. This includes the fact that even with the customs at the airports, a number of issues are being streamlined, so that when visitors come to do business, they can come and they are provided with visas which are very, in liberal terms. They also have minimum of days to get companies registered, and they have minimum of days to get even land for their industrial or investment activities. So I think things are improving. I am confident about that, and I want to believe that the international community, particularly in relation to ICT business, will take advantage of these initiatives by the government to encourage and support investment in Nigeria.
Now let's talk about what steps the ministry or the government is taking, like you mentioned during your presentation earlier, to ensure that they provide subsidized hubs to encourage these programmers.
Well, number one, government is not really providing subsidized hubs. I mean, otherwise government would also have to provide subsidies to all other businesses. You know, ICT, even if it is the most important and most critical now, it is still a business, like in agri, like in so many other, respects. But what government is doing to complement the private sector is that on its own, it is establishing ICT centers in universities, in polytechnics, even within communities, in various states, apart from also establishing schools, knowledge centers in secondary schools, so that, we'll be able to catch them young, with regard to provide the opportunity for people in secondary school to have first-hand opportunity, towards familiarizing themselves and getting, opportunities to start learning about ICT from secondary schools.
If I get you right, Mr. Minister, you have said that the government has no business in business. So the idea is to encourage a private sector partnership to boost the country's ICT sector. Yeah. Could you very briefly talk us through what steps the ministry is taking, particularly with regards to the ICT sector? No,
we have said, look, we have a number of establishments, about 6 establishments. We have NCC, Nigerian Communications Commission, which provides registration, licensing, and monitoring and supervision for the telecom subsector. Ditto, we also have NIDA, National Information Technology Development Agency, which ensures not only that the ICT sector, particularly with regard to internet and all of that, develop properly, it also ensures monitoring so that Nigeria is not made a dumping ground, for foreign products. It encourages also the establishment of, local factories, to produce many devices, and I'm happy that 2 or 3 companies are already setting shop locally. Again, in the area of satellite communications, we have NICOMSAT, Nigerian Information Satellite, Communications. Its aim is to ensure satellite communication services are provided all across board. But because of the capital intensiveness of investment in that area, so far Nigeria has only 1 satellite in orbit. We are making efforts to get money to acquire 2 more satellites, by which time we will be able to probably regulate foreign services outside of the shores of Nigeria, because a lot of monies, which should be within Nigeria, are being, paid to foreign satellite companies. We are working hard at this. We're already having talks with China Exim Bank to provide funding for this. We also now have a local content policy. For instance, in the area of software development, we want Nigeria to be self-reliant in this. We are encouraging Nigerians to go into software development, and wherever there's a Nigerian component of, software, we discourage, foreign importation in that regard. So a number of course, NIPOS is another sector where efforts are on to really diversify the content of the services that they provide using ICT. And we believe this would help in providing even banking services, financial, technological services, and so on to Nigerians.
My final question to you, sir. I am a programmer. I am someone who is interested in programming and ICT. You are my minister. Give me a connection to you. What is your vision for ICT in Nigeria?
My vision is to ensure that every Nigerian child in all our schools have access to ICT education, whether at the secondary school level or at the tertiary level. We are working very hard, subject to limitations of funding by government. The problem of funding is a major problem. We know that in years passed by, we have had a government which is profligate, which has really rendered Nigeria comatose in terms of finance. So this has really stultified the speed that we would have gone in ensuring, intervention by government. For now, intervention only comes, in the area of providing complementary services by also, establishment, not of halls, but of ICT centers in schools and so on. So I believe that with the existing, climate in Nigeria, everybody who has an initiative will be encouraged. As a matter of fact, NIDA is also, organizing a lot of, competitions and sponsoring people like you, programmers and software, producers, to compete at the international level. And I'm happy that next week we will be in Dubai, at GITEX, where Nigerians will also be sponsored. 2 weeks ago, Nigerians were also sponsored to go to South Korea at Busan, where Nigerians won laurels. So the government has been doing all of this in order to create competitive atmosphere so that people can develop their best, through this competition and be able to move on to the international stage, to represent